Before we start today's show, I want to remind you, let's draft smarter, not harder this year, and we want to help. The 2018 Ultimate Draft Kit is your one-stop shop for preparing yourself for the 2018 draft so you can dominate the foundation of your team and then stay with us throughout the year. We've got printable, tiered cheat sheets. We've got tier breakdowns. That's one of the best ways that you can utilize this draft kit is we break down every position into tiers, and that ranks groups of players at different performance levels. We've got 100-plus player profile videos and a whole lot more. Check it out at ultimatedraftkit.com.
Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast, coming to you from Draft.com Studios with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Welcome back. It's Thursday. The end of March is nigh.
We're getting closer.
Easter's just around the corner. And then we'll be into the draft.
That's what they say.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
That's what they say. And then right after the draft, it's going to be May.
Thank you, Jason.
You're welcome. Seemed a little forced.
If you are, I wish I had that drop in here. Otherwise, I'd totally play it. Welcome into the show, the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. You can find us on Apple iTunes.
Apple
if you're on a
iTunes?
computer.
Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts if you're on the phone.
There we
it's
go.
still iTunes on the computer, Mike. Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube. Subscribe is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And then these free episodes drop into your pocket.
You don't want to accidentally listen. You want to subscribe
Right.
and get ahead of the game.
You cannot take credit for an accident. You can take credit for an intentional action.
Exactly. And this world, it's all about taking credit.
Yes. Yeah. If you want to take a selfie of yourself subscribing and post it,
smart, Andy.
and then tag us on Instagram.
Gonna need two phones for that.
Instagram.com.
Yes. Then you got to do what you got to do. Go get a second phone.
Instagram.com/fantasyfootballers.
Subscribe on that phone.
If each of you,
Andy?
it's Instagram.com/fantasyfootballers. If every one of you out there, every one of our listeners, buys a second phone and subscribes,
Oh, we'll double.
that is how we're going to take the next step as a podcast.
Yeah.
It's
And
all up to you.
At that point in time, Brooks may or may not be paid.
May.
Yeah, may be paid.
not.
Welcome in. We got a great show. We're going to go over we each picked out our favorite free agency winner and loser. We're going to talk about them on the show today. Great quick question, some news and notes. It's going to be fun.
Always is.
It's not going to be May. It's going to be fun. You see that, Jay?
I'm right there with you.
All right, quick question of the day. What is your number one tip for fantasy football commissioners? I feel like this is like a rotating quick question, Brooks.
Yeah, we've had
A lot of commissioner questions.
how to keep your league engaged.
Don't you realize, Brooks, that by putting this in here, only 1/12 of those listening, it'll apply to them?
Not necessarily.
Yeah, I would say that the density of commissioners that are listening is that right? Density.
No.
The what's
I'll allow it.
yeah, Mike says it's okay. I'm looking the potency.
I am your density.
Does that work? Potency? No.
No.
I'm going to allow that too.
Mike's in a good mood today. I love it.
What are you trying to get at? And
My
then I'll tell you
point-
whether it works.
My point is that it's not like I think the people listening to this show, there's a large rate of commissioners. It's not
large
just,
rate?
Mike.
I'll allow it.
All right.
A high percentage of people
Thank
listening
you,
right
Mike.
now are commissioners.
And that's not accurate. A percentage. What do you think?
At least 95.
Okay. Well, at this point, let's just move on. What's the number one tip you have for fantasy football commissioners? You head into 2018. I've got my answer. Do you want me to jump in? You got yours, Mike?
I've got my answer too.
All right.
Did you just see mine?
I might have just seen yours. Mine is, look, you're, as the commissioner, you are the host of the league, okay?
Like a
Like a podcast host, for
I was going to
example.
go with a host of a party.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's
your
maybe,
hospitality meter needs to be high.
yeah, your rate. Your
Gotta
density.
You got to be dense. You got to be potent. All of those things.
Here's the point. You're the host. You want it to be a great league, i.e. you want it to be a great party. You got to keep the conversation going. You got to keep the party going.
Appetizers.
Yes.
Main course.
Yes. Punch.
Dessert. Punch.
And when the night goes on, you got to be there.
You're the DJ, too.
Yeah, you're the DJ. The point is...
And you clean up.
Is sadly...
The janitor.
The reality is as the commissioner goes, the league goes very often. So keeping the conversation going, talking about trades, setting good rules.
I feel like there's a whole
doing
article.
weekly write-ups and things like
Sure,
that are
you can
fun.
have
You
fun.
used to make power rankings, Andy, when you were the commissioner.
Power.
If you're a commissioner, quit your job. Focus
Buy
solely.
a second phone.
So,
You're probably going to want to buy the
needs
second
a
phone
third.
before you quit the job.
Yeah, probably. Anyways, my number one tip is simple. It's vetoes are for dweebos.
Aha.
Because vetoes are trash. Get them out of your league.
Lots of you're trying to cut down our mailbag questions by half.
Yeah.
Just by announcing this.
Just having vetoes available opens up Pandora's box for toxicity for your league of, well, a veto happens. Okay, now people are just out for revenge. Revenge vetoes are going to happen. We all know what we're doing. Sometimes people get one over on another player. That's just part of the game. You got to live with it. Shame on you for not making that deal in the first place. Don't be mad because someone else got a great deal.
Yeah, that's where I
No
struggle.
vetoes.
Hey, Mike.
Yes, sir.
When can a commissioner veto? When's a good time? There is.
I mean, we always throw out the caveat of if you know that people are conspiring together to make one team win, usually in a situation where one team then will reap the bounty of the money pot, and then they could, say split it. But they're just, I don't know how you're ever going to prove that. And
Yeah, if you know for sure, you found out behind the scenes that there was collusion. You looked at their chat record, and
but
it's
then
like,
your league's in a whole different world of
you
trouble.
got bigger problems than the vote, and you do that after the fact. You don't have the voting period. You just let the trades go through. But then if you see one go through where it's like I gave him Tom Brady for Jeremy Hill, straight up, nothing else, and then you might go backwards and say, okay, this is.
If you're going to have vetoes because for some reason you can't let go of the veto, just make it a unanimous veto for a trade.
Or I would
like
say,
that. I
if
like
you
that.
can't let
If
go
everybody-
of vetoes, there's probably a pizza place called
Yeah.
Vetoes. I got a Vetoes,
Dude,
and it's delicious.
When he said you got to let go of vetoes, I was really upset because there's this Italian place here called Vetoes. It is exceptional. I'm not letting
You're
it go.
more of a hold on to vetoes.
I'm going to hold on to vetoes.
We're probably
digest
talking the
it.
same
so
spot. Is it-
really,
is it-
what we need to do is say,
Wait, you think
Fish,
there's two vetoes out in Phoenix? No.
I think
it's
you
the same
get,
spot,
you
guys.
get rid of.
It's great.
You get rid of the voting period. That way you can keep vetoes, but get rid of that issue. My number one tip for commissioners is all about the owners in the league. It's your responsibility to make sure your league is stocked with great owners. We have a waiting list, and you're always kind of, poking and prodding new friends and colleagues and coworkers. Oh, you play fantasy? Hey, get on the list. Wait, build up that list because
I wonder if Uncle Herb plays. I bet he wants to play this year,
But
old Uncle Herb.
You're always looking for
Uncle
better
Herb.
and better owners so that, as the years go on, that guy that's kind of into it the last few years and barely plays, you just give him that, it's okay.
Yeah,
we know you don't
like
want
I
to.
did with Brooks this year on our fantasy baseball league.
Right.
He was my co-owner. He's no longer my co-owner.
There you go.
and you're still friends.
And then,
We're
and then
still
the league
great
stays
friends.
great because the owners are strong.
My Uncle Herb is my co-owner now.
I believe that's Herb.
Herb, sorry.
yeah, it sounds like you're talking about something
Well,
else.
it's vetoes. They put a lot of herbs on their pizza.
Oh, yeah, nice recovery.
Did we help anybody, Brooks? Did we help anybody?
Maybe a couple people.
Maybe a couple. All right.
Super dense portion of our audience was
Yes.
just helped there.
All right. Reminder, I talked about it to open the show. The Ultimate Draft Kit's available at the lowest possible price, and it's always updated. It's always fresh. Oh, just like Vito's Pizza. UltimateDraftKit.com. Last, 2 days left at FootClanGiveaway.com. So if you want to enter to win a signed Todd Gurley or Lev Bell jersey, that's like basically the number 1 and number 2 pick in the draft.
Correct.
So we're giving away autographed jerseys. That's fun. FootClanGiveaway.com. And don't forget, check out some of the if you're just joining us for the first time, first of all, welcome. Second of all, thank you for staying beyond this first 9 minutes.
Glad to have you.
At this point, you're hooked, obviously. And if you haven't listened, we recorded a lot of different shows before this. So we have the 10 Things to Remember episode
Always important.
about last year. A lot of times we forget about last year. We have Coaching Changes episode we recorded in February. Dynasty Keep Trade Cut, Dynasty Startup shows. So those of you playing Dynasty, you can go back in the archives, listen to those from February and March, early March. And then we have an early mock draft show that just went live last week. So don't miss the early mock draft like we missed Jerick McKinnon in the middle of that draft. Because that hurt.
No regrets.
Oh, I've got him.
News and notes from around the league.
Sometimes we just say stuff to make ourselves feel better, Jason.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like no regrets. All right, owners have passed a new catch rule by a vote of 32-0. So the new rule would have made the Des Bryant and Jesse James catches. They were both overturned
They're
under the previous rule.
Catches. It
would have made their incompletions completions. And it basically gets rid of the going to the ground aspect of the catch rule, simplifies the catch. The ball has to be secure, 2 feet down, and then a football move, which could constitute reaching out, which could, like Jesse James, it could constitute another step. But
it also could constitute, because I've seen a lot of people say, well, then, toe taps on the sidelines are no longer no, that is the football move. You catch the ball and you tap your toes. That is a catch. I actually am a fan of the rule.
It's going to go the right direction. I know it is. I'm so excited about it.
Yeah.
Because when you look at those plays, it's now there's room in this rule for common sense. When it defines it as the ball is secure 2 feet, and then the ability to make a football move, that to me says they're looking at security. If you have ball security, they're no longer going to be looking about all the other aspects. So I'm really excited about it.
Does that mean that this does not overturn the Austin Safarian-Jenkins one?
What this means is Austin Safarian-Jenkins is now the #1 fantasy football tight end.
Because that's a completely different rule.
Yeah,
he lost possession and it turned into a fumble.
That was the worst.
I think that the rule should move in the right direction because it should lead to more receptions and catches. That's what we all want. While Andy said it's room for common sense, not everyone has the same common sense as what you hold
as
near
our
and dear.
brilliant minds.
Well, of course. That opens things up to a lot more interpretation where, in my opinion, the old catch rule, even if you didn't like it, it was very clear to me when things were and were not a reception.
I don't think it was very clear to the Jesse James fans.
No, and that's fine. But I mean, we watched that together, and immediately I went, "That's not a catch."
Yeah, because we've been retrained.
We knew.
Sure, but it's. I felt like it was pretty black and white. This is not. This is everything is gray now.
Okay, I guess we see.
That's
we'll see
my
how
only concern.
it plays out. The original thought process for the new rule was they were just going to text Mike, and he was just going to give a thumbs up, thumbs down.
It would have been so much quicker.
It would have been done.
Replay would have been, boom, bam.
Yeah, immediately.
The Rams have signed Ndamukong Suh.
Rutrow, Jerick McKinnon.
Rutrow, David Johnson.
Yeah.
That's a middle of the line that you just off limits with Aaron Donald.
That's a situation.
Ben Watson, as he tweeted, #2Dat. He is back with the Saints for a second stint.
Oh,
nice.
1-year deal.
I love it.
Nicely done, Ben Watson. That's a grandpa joke. That's not even a dad joke. I mean, you have surpassed.
Well, grandpas and dads, they're very wise. And look, Yahoo Sports' Jordan Schultz stated matter-of-factly that he anticipates the Cowboys are going to release Des Bryant after the draft.
We shall see.
$12.5 million cap hit.
Do you buy this as inside information or opinion?
This is the money situation is if they designate him as a post-June 1st, they would clear 12.5 for this year to use as salary cap.
He's actually a 16.4 hit this year.
Yes, right. But if you cut him, his dead money this year is, I believe, right around over $8 million. So either way, you have to pay him a lot or you're taking a huge dead cap hit.
To answer Jason's question of do you take it as insider information, I take it as another marble in the bucket on the side of maybe he's cut. and we really don't know the situation. If I were Dallas, my belief in what Dez Bryant is and isn't, and what he is and isn't for the locker room and that team and the financial, to me, I'd cut him. I know you're on the other end, Mike, and I understand it.
Dez Bryant will find a job immediately.
Yes, he will. And so what you're saying is, Andy, maybe take one of those dynasty cheap trade offers to try to get Allen Hurns in case something like that happens.
Yes.
He becomes a big beneficiary. You can go after Terrence Williams, if you want.
I'm assuming if they're planning to cut Dez Bryant, they are also planning to take a wide receiver in the very early rounds.
That would be the one hesitation there. What else is going on? We still have the rumors about Odell Beckham Jr., conflicting reports about him being on the block, not on the block. Now you hear, Jenny's on the block? Is that right?
What, Jenny? From the block?
Yeah.
From the block.
Yeah, she's not on the block. No, don't be fooled by the rocks that I got.
I should always understand the fact that if I mess a reference up, like if Mike doesn't get a reference, it's because I messed it up.
Right.
Like Mike, if the reference
you thought he wasn't,
and now she's got a lot.
Right. Well, on the block or not,
I don't think Odell Beckham's going
they're
anywhere.
talking about 2 first-rounders. He's probably going to stay put.
I believe that the Giants right now are a good organization, which means I think they're going to use the number 2 pick for a quarterback, keep Odell Beckham, and build a good, solid team for the future.
So if they don't take a quarterback, will you reverse your opinion?
Depends on what they do there. I mean, if they trade back, accumulate other stuff.
They draft Saquon Barkley at 2.
I will probably reverse my opinion.
Okay.
Interesting.
Just taking a heat check here.
Yeah, I think I don't think he's going. I don't think Barkley's going to go to New York at 2. We'll see. Doug Peterson believes they're going to keep Nick Foles, so no more trades there. Matt Nagy, this is bigger news, confirmed that tight end Trey Burton will play the Travis Kelce role in the Bears offense. Oh, do you got the hype train rolling?
Oh, absolutely. He's already in my top 10. Trey Burton was an absolute beast when filling in for Zach Ertz. And the fact that his coach is already saying we're going to play him in the slot as a receiver, that's
what you want for fantasy.
That's what you want for fantasy football.
Yeah, I play in all my leagues 0 points per block. So I want my tight ends in the slot. I love that. It'll be interesting. There's going to be a lot of hype around that organization in general heading into next year.
A lot of pressure, too, because I was saying this to Mike. If Trubisky doesn't get it done this year,
pressure on Trubisky.
Yes, pressure on Trubisky. Everything has fallen his way. If he doesn't get it done, then he stinks.
Okay, we're going to talk more about it. Believe it or not. Ron Rivera said Greg Olsen does not need a second surgery. This is one of Jason's big concerns.
Yeah,
he could need one later, but he doesn't need one now.
I think it's about a 20%. Is the statistic for this injury to require that second surgery. So it's still a minority, but that's a huge number.
Blaine Gabbert signs with the Titans.
Oh, blonde bombshell. Backing up Marcus Mariota. Huge news.
Not as big as this. Cody Kessler.
Oh my goodness.
Cody Kessler traded. Someone traded for him.
Is it a first?
A conditional 7th.
No, see,
for next year.
That's how you do it. That's how you go get a backup quarterback. You trade I'm fine with this move.
I'm fine, but you got to give credit on the other side. You got something for Cody Kessler, and then you just signed a better backup in Drew Stanton. The Browns have a better backup in Drew Stanton, and they got a conditional 7th.
I think that the margin of – I won't argue that Cody Kessler is better than Drew Stanton.
Wait, you mean that Drew Stanton's better than Cody Kessler?
Yeah, either way.
Yeah, either. I'm agreeing with you. I'd rather have Drew Stanton as my backup quarterback.
Not either way, Jason. It inverts the entire meaning of what I'm saying.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
He said Kessler was better than Stanton.
No, I'm saying
he won't argue that.
I won't argue that.
So if he's not going to argue that, then he wouldn't argue the opposite.
Well,
yeah. So
there you go.
But the margin that I would say, well, Drew Stanton is this percentage better than Cody Kessler, it is so minute that it doesn't matter.
Would you say it's a conditional 7th round difference?
Exactly. And paying him a lot less money.
Sure.
To be your either way, you know if Drew Stanton's going in, you know if Cody Kessler's going in, your team's done. So before we move into the free agent winners and losers, want to thank Spotify and remind everyone out there, to all you sports fans, did you know you can stream this podcast on Spotify right now? It's easy. Open the app on your mobile device or desktop, click on the Browse channel, then click on the podcast section. You can also stream right to your smart speaker. Now it's that much easier for you to stay up to date on all the latest and greatest in all things sports and this podcast, thanks to Spotify.
And if you are out there thinking about buying some tickets, right, to any event, a sporting event coming up, a music concert, whatever, make sure you use SeatGeek. They are the smartest, easiest way to get tickets to any type of live event. We've used SeatGeek for years. They've been sponsors of the show, but also been in our pockets, being used left, right, and center every time
all
I go
my
to
phones.
Yeah,
all
yeah.
my
You
phones.
got to get it on your first phone, your second phone, your burner phone. You download SeatGeek everywhere.
Your burner phone.
Look, they're designed to make the buying experience easy. They search multiple sites. They make sure you get, a great deal. They color code their grids to show you here's the best value. It's super easy. It's 2 taps, and you've got tickets to your next
Sometimes
live
people
event.
think it's 3 taps, but it's not.
No, why would you want 3 taps when you can do it in 2? Look, best of all, our listeners, you're getting $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. You just download the SeatGeek app on all your phones. Enter the promo code FOOTBALLERS today. That's promo code FOOTBALLERS for $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase.
Sounds pretty good to me. You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, everybody. That's what I'm talking about, guys. We've made a great effort so far. Let's just keep it up.
That's right! We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've got to keep our composure! We've come too far!
Yeah! That's great.
There you have it. What's the segment?
Free agent winners and losers.
I don't
Okay.
know. I will
I
say
searched
I
in
have
my
no
mind.
idea why that relates, but I love it.
Yeah, I like the drop. I just don't know how it relates to
It doesn't even need to relate.
No.
We're moving in the right
Mike's
direction.
just putting it. Welcome to Jurassic Park. Na-na-na-na-na-na-na.
I love this drop.
Just movie quotes.
Free agent winners.
I don't get it. All right, hey, we're each handpicking a free agent winner and a free agent loser and making our case as to why. I'm going to let Mike kick it off because, every once in a while you got to give the bear something, and Jay Grizz has to like your pick.
Going with the aforementioned Mitch Trubisky. Nobody beats Mitch. And I will say this. I need to start this argument for him being the big winner with, I don't know if Mitch Trubisky can actually be a good fantasy quarterback or a good real-life quarterback. However, for an offseason to go a certain way, step 1, John Fox fired. You no longer have gloom and doom, the new Jeff Fisher hanging over your organization, trying to call
Does he
plays.
bring a rain cloud with him?
Oh,
Is that,
like a cartoon where
Yes.
it's just one rain cloud.
Yes.
That's John Fox for the Chicago Bears. He's gone. Matt Nagy is in from the Andy Reid coaching tree. Things worked out pretty well for the Philadelphia Eagles. Things worked out pretty well for Matt Nagy when he was calling plays for the Kansas City Chiefs. They brought in Allen Robinson. Not very many wide receivers have hit the 1,400 yards and 14 touchdowns in a single season. Allen Robinson did that in his second year. He is a great wide receiver. You bring in Trey Burton, who when he was playing Trey Boo Boo, when he played in place of Zach Ertz, he averaged over a touchdown and a half a game. That's when Zach Ertz was out. You bring in the speedster Taylor Gabriel, and you already have Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen around him, but the weapons are there. The offensive minded football plays or play callers are there. Success is hanging on the low branch. All Mitch has to do is reach out and grab it. If he's just competent, he will succeed for fantasy football.
All right.
So I think the obvious follow-up question there is, do you believe that Mitch Trubisky is competent?
I do believe he is competent. Yes, I will put my check mark in that side.
Yeah, I'm TBD. I was not a huge fan of him coming into the NFL, but you can't judge anything he did last year. They didn't let him throw the ball.
It's just like trying to judge Jared Goff off of his rookie season with Jeff Fisher when your offense is as bland, boring, predictable, and run games, first, how do you judge a rookie quarterback coming in?
I will say that the rhetoric around Jared Goff was much worse than the rhetoric around Mitch Trubisky in the offseason last year. So he has that going for him. Similar situations. We'll be talking about that for a while. I'm going to say Jerick McKinnon. Jerick McKinnon is my offseason, my free agent big winner so far.
Certainly.
It was difficult for me to see a situation that was going to come along that would make me actually excited about Jerick McKinnon, the free agent, because he had almost 1,000 yards last year. And you say, okay, he's going to go and he's going to platoon. And then he signs with San Francisco and Kyle Shanahan, 4 years, $30 million, starter money. I think about 12 of that's guaranteed in year one. Shanahan has coached a top 15 fantasy back 5 of his last 6 seasons. He is now rich in money, talking about McKinnon, rich in opportunity to play potentially all 3 downs in San Francisco. And last year, I think we saw that he's fairly rich in talent. So he has the ability. Now, he's smaller. Mike, you and I talked a lot about this when we're talking about the draft and the combine. Yep. He's 5'9", 205. Like, Jerick McKinnon's not big. So that's going to be the question mark for people. But Kyle Shanahan talked about that, and he said, look, guys that are 230, they're not 3-down backs either. And they've looked, he said this, here's an exact quote. We looked into all the running backs in free agency. We thought he was the top guy. That's who we targeted. We're happy to get him. He talked about how he could visualize using him in all the different ways that McKinnon is valuable. And then the most important quote for fantasy owners, he said, people talk about him being a 3rd-down back, which he is, a very good one. And we plan on using him that way. But I think he's a good 1st and 2nd-down back too. Yeah. So when you talk about talent, opportunity, the money, following the money, right now it looks like Jerick McKinnon gets to step into the Devonta Freeman role, something I didn't think was going to be handed to him, something that didn't exist in very many places. I mean, can you think of another team or situation where you'd be more excited?
For a guy to weigh 205, a running back to weigh 205, it's an outlier for you to be one of the top performers. But we saw what Kyle Shanahan did with Devonta Freeman.
And we saw there are running backs that do it. I mean, Jamal Charles, 5'11", 199.
It's not impossible, but you are the outlier.
Yes, you are the outlier, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I'm not confident he can hold up, but it is a great situation. I would have picked Jerick McKinnon.
The funny thing is,
not already stolen him.
Yeah.
in our doc.
All right, well, go on.
Yeah, so I'm going with another running back, somewhat similar to Mitch Trubisky in the sense that he's staying exactly where he was, but everything around him was perfect, and that is Rex Goathead, as Mike would say.
Thank you.
What was the other name that you said, though, that was much better?
What, Sexy Rexy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that's one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, no, look, I don't like Rex Goathead. It's a stupid name. But the people have spoken, and they want it, and they love it. It's great. Rex Burkhead re-signs with the New England Patriots. And the issue with the New England Patriots running game is you don't know who it's going to be, right? For years, you want to avoid the New England Patriots running back position because is it going to be this guy or that guy? However, there has still been a ton of fantasy value, right? Dion Lewis won a lot of people a lot of stuff last year. LeGarrette Blount the year prior was super valuable. Dion Lewis is gone. Dion Lewis left in free agency, goes to the Titans. They re-sign Rex Burkhead to a 3-year contract, which is great. Then they go, and the only other signing is, so you know it wasn't just going to be, Gilly, who they didn't use last year, and Rex Burkhead. They're going to bring another back in. Are they going to spend finally, some high capital running back in the draft? Probably not. That's not their way. Are they going to go sign, Isaiah Crowell was a name that I was thinking because they always poach the Browns. No, they went and got Jeremy Hill. Old busted or young busted maybe. They signed him to a super cheap contract. So now it's basically
a full approve-it deal, not even just a cheap contract.
No, he might not even make the team. This says to me that they are confident in Rex Burkhead. He's one of their only 2 pass-catching running back options at all, and he could run well through the lanes. I look back at last year, and check this out. So I think Rex Burkhead will average over 10 touches this next year a game. total touches.
Sure.
Between ground and air. Is that a fair number?
That's more than fair.
10 is a kind of low number. Last year, he got injured in the very beginning of the year. Took a while to come back. When he came back, until he got injured again, that's a different problem. When he was in, he had a stretch of 5 of 6 games in a row where he averaged, or where he had more than 10 touchdowns. 5 games, more than 10 touches. Goodness gracious. But in those games, if he had 10 touches or more, he averaged 17.18 fantasy points a game in half-point PPR. That's enormous. That is just ahead of the average of Alvin Kamara at 17.1 in half-point PPR leagues. He's really valuable to this offense, and if he does get the touches next year, I think he's going to be a steal in drafts.
I can't argue. That is whenever you have a running back that can do multiple things in that system, you increase your odds of Belichick not screwing it up.
Right.
So I have some other free agent winners, guys, and I'm going to give you a name. Tell me whether you agree that they're a winner in free agency. Kirk Cousins?
Oh, huge winner.
Sure.
Yeah. Tons of weapons. Larry Fitzgerald.
I
don't think so.
Oh, see, I put Larry Fitzgerald as a winner simply because
I was surprised to see that there, Mike.
Well, but here's the deal. What have the Arizona Cardinals done? I'm talking fantasy football.
Sure.
What have the Cardinals done at the wide receiver position?
Nothing.
Exactly. And they got an accurate quarterback.
Sure.
Well, Sam Bradford's health to be determined. Probably won't play all 16 games. But they don't have talent at the wide receiver position. Larry Fitzgerald is going to get so many targets.
That's fair.
It's the health. The health is the issue, right? Like
For Sam Bradford.
For Sam Bradford.
Okay.
If they went out and got Kirk Cousins, if they went out and got Case Keenum even, I would say, yeah, this is good for Larry.
See, I think it's.
I think Bradford will be
Mike,
great
though.
for Larry.
Even if Glennon was starting
When he's
and Larry's the number 1 on the depth chart, he'd be all right.
Yep.
He was okay with Stanton. Alan Hearns, winner.
Yeah, I think
Chance at a bigger role.
Absolutely.
Danny Amendola?
We don't know what's
every
gonna happen.
down role in Miami?
If he takes over Jarvis Landry's slot duties for Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, Albert Wilson's going to get in the way.
This was a potential. I wrote him down as potentially a huge winner.
Randall Cobb?
Yeah, I mean, with Jordy leaving, Randall Cobb becomes the de facto wide receiver 2. He's had great years before. He's a huge winner.
All right, at the running back position, winner Peyton Barber?
As of now, you
Yes.
have to say so.
Yes, he was called. The quote from Dirk Cutter, head coach of the Buccaneers, was very funny because he's our starting running back right now. That could change.
Probably will.
But it maybe. We would expect that it would, but they didn't address it in free agency. Are they really going to draft a running back
Look,
high?
Peyton
Yes.
Barber.
Yes,
Peyton
they
Barber
are.
might be on the list of the losers when it comes to winners
After
and
the
losers
draft.
after the draft. But in free agency, he is a clear winner. They've upgraded their offensive line and done nothing to put a running back ahead of him.
What
for the
about
Tampa
Todd
Bay
Gurley?
Buccaneers.
Is Todd Gurley a winner of this offseason thanks to the improvements on the
Yes.
St. Louis or Los Angeles defense?
He is to me. The Los Angeles Rams defense is ridiculous. Up front and their secondary is absolutely outrageous, the moves that they have been able to pull off. Will they be losing a game? Like, when will they be trailing? Very, very infrequently.
There's
I
a
would
difference
expect.
between the on paper and on the field.
Sure,
So-
that's fine.
Are they going to gel like Denver did? Or are they going to end up like the Philly defense did a few years ago with the big free agents?
Yeah.
But they have incredible talent.
I believe in
And
Sean
Wade-
McVay.
I believe in Wade Phillips.
Yeah, I was going to say
It's
son
not
of bum.
really about, it's about son of bum. When you give him weapons, he uses them the right way.
Right.
So yeah, sure. What about Kristen Michael?
You got it. You know it.
Mike, you put it in here just so I could play the drop.
Oh, and he's a winner.
He's not
right
a
now.
winner.
Yes, he is. He's back.
He's got another paycheck. Tyler Eifert.
Yeah.
I think that's a winner. He stays where he's comfortable. I actually moved him. Spoiler alert. Next week, early ranking episodes.
Oh, yes.
Can't stop him. And we have put together our rankings, and you'll get our consensus ranks. You'll hear where we have guys, and I moved Eifert up significantly.
I don't disagree.
Got to stay healthy.
Yeah, if he stays healthy, though, Tyler Eifert's been an absolute monster.
And then you wanted to bring up Nick Vannett and Luke Wilson.
Yes.
You might want to tell people who they are and what team they play for.
So
and what position they play.
So Pat Thorman, I've talked about Nick
And
Vannett
what
on this
sport.
show.
Also the sport.
But Pat Thorman from Pro Football Focus, he was tweeting out things about teams who have had targets vacated by certain positions. The Seahawks have 112 targets to the tight end position that are unaccounted for.
Because Jimmy Graham has left.
And so has Luke Wilson.
Right.
And Nick
I
Vannett.
believe you mean Luke Wilson.
Luke Wilson, thank you. Nick Vannett is there, and right now he's the pass-catching tight end. I'm not saying he's going to get 112 targets, but he's on your dynasty.
He goes from
waiver
someone
wire.
that you've never heard of to someone involved in the passing game.
And then the aforementioned Luke Wilson, he went to Detroit, who has 104 tight end targets that are unaccounted for with Eric Ebron and Darren Fells gone. They just signed Toy Lolo, who's a blocking tight end. Luke Wilson's going to be the pass-catching tight end in this offense.
That'll be interesting. He could have a Jack Doyle of a year.
Well, he's more athletic than Jack Doyle. If you recall a couple years back before Jimmy Graham was in Seattle, Luke Wilson had some monster plays with Russell.
Yeah, no, I like it. And if he has a great year, then we get to keep saying Luke Wilson. So I'll be thrilled.
All right. Let's talk about the free agent losers. Who were the biggest losers?
We call it the Brian Ketron Award.
Yeah, I almost said the free agent Ketrons, but no one would know what we're talking about.
But
Brian Ketron
would.
is the individual who lost in the listener league to Jason.
Mm-hmm.
He's been upgraded to the
Segment titles.
the main podcast getting on blast
Right.
instead of just the footcast.
Yes, nobody lost more this offseason than Brian Ketron, followed by Carlos Hyde. So the running back that Kyle Shanahan has now disposed of has let go to free agency, who is frequently hurt. He's missed 14 games in his career so far. He heads to Cleveland, and it's Dr. Jackson and Mr. Hyde in Cleveland. Hugh Jackson's talking him up, but he enters these disgusting shadows of Isaiah Crowell. Look, on this show 1 year ago, I named Isaiah Crowell one of the biggest offseason winners because they had established this incredible offensive line in Cleveland. Well, much to my chagrin, if you're never winning a game and you never hand the ball to your running back, they cannot score points. And it was not a good year for Isaiah Crowell relative to what we expected and hoped. Duke Johnson's still involved, so Carlos Hyde enters that backfield with Duke Johnson. He's not going to catch passes, and they're going to draft somebody. They have so many, 18, 17 draft picks. There's going to be another running back competing in that backfield. Maybe it's late if you're lucky, and Carlos Hyde can give you some sort of value. But last year, listen to this, 11 rushing touchdowns by the team. 5 were Deshaun Kaiser. So then you had 6 rushing touchdowns to split between Duke Johnson and Isaiah Crowell last year, and you're probably going to have 3 guys in that backfield in some capacity to split, 10? 8? It's just not it's not inspiring is my point. It's more troublesome than inspiring. If you want to say Jerick McKinnon went to the best possible place, you could argue that Carlos Hyde went to the worst possible situation.
He went to
the volume.
At least he's still the lead back.
Yes.
He didn't go to a situation where he's second on the depth chart. Now, that could change if Saquon Barkley shows up, which they say is still an option in Cleveland. I don't think that'll happen.
Or Chubb,
or
Penny, or any of these other guys that
Carlos
are going to be more durable.
Carlos Hyde caught 59 passes last year, something
That's
he's
the
not
real problem.
especially great at, but it really helped him for fantasy, and now he goes to a team that has Duke Johnson and Jarvis Landry. Carlos Hyde is not going to be in the pass-catching role, so while I'm actually warming up to him in this spot a little bit because I don't believe they'll draft Saquon, his upside is absolutely capped. It's not a good situation in general.
Yeah, he's a running back too. He is as the Carlos Hyde truther on this show. I guess exposing myself as the truther here, but he is a much better running back than Isaiah Crowell. Much, much better. And Kaiser's gone. Kaiser won't be stealing rushing touchdowns for the Cleveland Browns. I really wish that Carlos Hyde had gone somewhere else, but here he is. He's still going to end up as a running back too, though.
Okay.
But I'm with you that things could have been Tampa, Indianapolis, Washington. There are these juicy places that were available, and he ended up in Cleveland.
Yeah, my biggest Brian Ketron of the offseason free agency goes to Jordy Nelson. He has done what the 2015 All-Star team has done, and he has gone to Oakland to die. Look, Jordy.
Isn't that where
2 years
MJD
ago,
went to die?
Yeah, that's where MJD went to die. It's where
James Jones went to die there, right?
Yes, he did.
But then he rose like a phoenix when he went back.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe Jordy will go back to Green Bay when he's like 36.
He actually said he was pretty upset.
I'll bet he was
came out
upset.
and talked about the fact that they didn't do more to try to keep him after all the years he spent there.
Yeah, it's certainly not the Green Bay way. Obviously, a new general manager kind of running the show there. But the thing with Jordy is 2 years ago with Aaron Rodgers, he wasn't good. He was the number one, in half-point formats, which is what we look at. He was the number one wide receiver just the year before last, and he was on fire with Aaron Rodgers last year. But when Rodgers left, he was gone. Coming into this season, had he stayed on the Packers, Jordy would be a huge discussion point. Yes, he's a little bit older, but is he going to bounce back to where he's lived with Aaron Rodgers, which is as a top 5 wide receiver? He might have been a steal in the second or third round. Instead, he goes and plays with the guy liner man himself in Derek Carr. Derek Carr, look, Derek Carr's not terrible.
Send in the car. Send in the car.
But he is 1,000
the guy liner himself
from Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers since 2011 has averaged on a per 16 game pace 38 touchdowns a year, whereas Derek Carr, and I'm getting rid of his rookie season, of course, and including his great season, his sophomore year, he's averaged 29 touchdowns. The touchdowns are the difference. When Jordy was the number one wide receiver 2 years ago, 33% of his fantasy points came from touchdowns. He's a touchdown guy. He's not a huge yardage, huge volume guy at this point in his career, and now he's going to – and just for reference, the next 5 guys behind Jordy that year – they were 22% of their fantasy points were from touchdowns. So that's Jordy's game, and now he's going to a place where there's not going to be as many passing touchdowns. And as Andy, I think, rightly said, he's going to be last year's Tennessee Titans Eric Decker. So who's excited about that?
Nobody. I just can't believe you took a shot at Derek Carr.
No, I didn't say anything bad about Guy Liner. I'm just saying.
You made me search. You made me search on Google for famous raccoons. I've never done that
before. Pop up?
Ranger Rick did. Ranger Rick came.
He has that interesting. His eyes look very dark when he has the helmet on.
Yeah, they're just a little sunken.
Oh, okay. I'm going with the Jacksonville Jaguars pass catchers for fantasy purposes.
So a collection of losers.
Yeah, and it's not that it's a bad situation. It's the fact that there are so many pieces up in the air. You lost Allen Robinson, okay. Marquise Lee, maybe we can be the featured guy, except they threw $10 million. They stuffed a briefcase full of $10 million, and they threw it at Dante Moncrief, who hasn't done anything, but he oozes potential. You bring in Austin Seferian-Jenkins. You already had Dede Westbrook. I mean, poor Keelan Cole, after helping the team out tremendously last year, his reward is to sit on the bench and to not play. I just don't know where to go with Jacksonville on a run-first team, thinking you had something in Marquise Lee to enter this offseason, or Allen Robinson, whoever was going to be the alpha for the passing game, and then they bring all these other guys in. It creates a very murky situation where you're not going to want to pay the draft price for any of these players. At least I will not want to. Someone may hit, but it's a full roulette wheel here with these guys.
Few other losers, guys. Do you agree that Doug Martin's a loser?
Is this a free agency question or
it's a little below the belt?
Just free agency. Just free agency.
Yeah, I mean, he would have been the only way he could have been a winner is if he went and became the starter. But Marshawn is still the starter.
Yeah, Doug Martin could have gone to Cleveland. I would have liked him more there than backing up Marshawn Lynch. Eric Ebron, Jack Doyle. Couple of losers.
I disagree with Eric Ebron. I really do.
What?
Frank Reich is going to look for his Zach Ertz. And
but what do you think the Lions have been doing all these years? They've been looking for their.
I think Eric Ebron's been very good. If you gave him.
Wait, they didn't think that.
Well, they just didn't think he was worth.
Did
the fifth-year
they not
option.
call you? They needed to see what you saw.
They said, and maybe this is proving your point or disproving it, but the NFL agreed with the Lions side. He wasn't worth the fifth-year option money. They think he's a good player, but they couldn't pay him that amount.
Right, and the Colts did pay up enough to say, hey, look, we want you to be involved. If
they just paid Jack Doyle last year, so Jack Doyle's not going away.
Right, no, I do agree with that, but I don't think he's a gigantic loser here.
Which one?
Eric Ebron.
Okay. Just like a baby loser? No loser at all? A winner?
Eric
MVP?
Ebron he has a neutral.
It is so great to know that he has stapled a picture of Eric Ebron to his body for this year, because
truth.
2018 is now, it's continuing.
He's my new Kobe Fleener. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Well, yeah, you can always trust Jason's track record with sleeper tight ends.
There is, yes.
Kobe. All right, let's hit the mailbag.
Mailbag.
Welcome into the mailbag. Visit the website, thefantasyfootballers.com. Click the Submit a Question button. You can submit a question for the show, or you can dial our very convenient, easy-to-use voicemail hotline, 302-464-TFFB. Please keep your voicemail short and to the point. We love playing them, but keep them tighten them up.
And you can use either one of your cell phones to do this.
Yeah.
You can,
What if you used them both at the same time?
You must be subscribed to our show on that phone to then dial 302-464-TFFB.
We check.
We have very advanced algorithms brought to us by Facebook. First receiver choice question, Chris in Nashville. Hey, ballers, love the show. Which of these receivers would you like most as your number one in a startup dynasty league? So startup dynasty, who do you want? Tyreek Hill, Adam Thielen, Allen Robinson.
wow.
Oh, Adam, as much as we talk about Adam Thielen, in a dynasty league startup, he's out from this question.
You're just saying because of age, he's
Yes.
28 years old.
He's 27 right now.
Yeah, in this season, he'll be 28 when he plays.
Yeah, I'll take Robinson, Hill, Thielen.
Robinson, Hill, Thielen.
I lean that way as well.
I'm going to go with the guaranteed one here in a dynasty league, even though Hill might be that. I think it's a 1A, 1B there in Kansas City. That's why I've been on the
with Sammy Watkins.
Draft Sammy Watkins at the late value over Hill.
Yeah, I agree completely.
All right, this one's off of Twitter at AndrewHeld13. Quick question. Would it be in poor taste as the league's commissioner to hype up a bad player that got picked up by another friend's favorite team just so that he will draft him instead of a better player?
What?
Heck no.
Oh, dude, this is what you got to do.
Yeah, this is part of the game.
Does it change if you're the commissioner versus just another league
no
mate?
way.
Not at all. You
way.
you are not forcing them to do anything.
Here's
agree.
where it changes if you're the commissioner. Let's say you're the commissioner and you started this league with your friends and family, people who don't know football. And you're bringing this thing together with a bunch of people. This is their first year they've never played. And then you pull this. Like, oh, dude, you should totally draft this guy. You know, in
If
that
this is a
situation,
competitive league.
you get everyone a UDK and you make sure everyone's smart enough. But no, if it's a competitive league or even a
That
an
Jimmy
office
Graham.
league.
That Jimmy Graham for your hometown Packers.
Before we had the podcast,
Second round pick, man.
I actually like Graham.
I do too, but you can definitely get someone to draft him before they should.
Yes.
Before we had the podcast where we have to tell the truth about our opinions and guys that we like, I used to do this all the time, and it was glorious because when you manage to pull off an inception and get someone to like a player that you hated, oh man, and they draft him, it's a top 5
Man,
feeling.
I'm excited about Doug Martin coming to Oakland. Man. Have you seen 400, 1400?
We can't do it anymore.
You know, it's funny.
Fun's
so
gone.
We just had our live stream. What was that, yesterday? For the jointhefoot.com supporters. And one of them asked a question about, they were like, did you have any other names besides the fantasy footballers? So Mike and Andy start looking up old emails, and they see when they were really looking at starting this starting the podcast up, their biggest concern, back and forth, the number one biggest concern was just the fact that people in the league would know their true opinions. This is the greatest problem you have. It's like, dang it. They'll know I really like this guy or I really don't like this guy.
When we launched this podcast in 2014, we were strategizing as to what the best time to release it was so
Before or
that
after
they
the
would get
draft.
the least amount of information from us
Oh, man.
on a personal level. Yes.
So good to look at those emails.
Twitter question. What's an appropriate age to let your child play in a family fantasy league asking for a friend?
I would say as young as they're interested.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we ask the question two ways. I would agree with that as like a co-owner, but in terms of owning a single franchise, I think that would be the question, because if you had a family league and then you said, hey, my 4-year-old wants a team, I think everybody in the league would go, well, your 4-year-old probably can't handle a team. It'll disrupt we always talk about great leagues, great people.
I would agree with those people. A 4-year-old is not ready for
Correct.
Right.
fantasy
So
football.
what do you think a good – I mean,
So what are the standards that they have to be able to do?
must
that's
be
really the question.
48 inches high.
It's like
It's a Disney
It's
ride.
mostly height-related, actually.
Can you ride Indiana Jones at Disneyland?
If you can't-
you can't play.
If you can't stick the name up on the draft board up high –
No, you can't reach the first round, huh?
Yeah,
Then
you
you
only-
don't get any picks. They need to be able to
probably
obviously
8 years old, 7, 8 years
That
old.
was the number that popped in my head.
Yeah.
They're probably woke enough at 8 to be able to sit down and really enjoy a
Well,
football
they have to
game.
nap in between the draft. Like during the draft, if they have to nap, they're not old enough.
Yeah. Yo, you got a nap? Then you can't come.
I guess Jason has had to nap a couple
It should
times.
be-
And
if you guys want to,
Oh, if it's food coma related, that's completely different. That shows you're old enough to have no metabolism, and you're invited.
I might start a motion that we do a nap halfway through the draft.
you know,
If
it
it's
is
an auction
pretty,
draft.
See, it sounds
pretty
pretty awesome.
intense. Yeah, I think Raising Cane's can induce that.
Just a quick power nap.
A nice intermission.
By the way, Jason mentioned it a minute ago, but we do a show every single week filled with just questions from the listeners over at jointhefoot.com. It's one of the bonus perks that you get for supporting this independent podcast. So if you're interested in that, if you're interested in access to our Foot Clan leagues where you can join local leagues, online leagues, dynasty, whatever, redraft, every kind of league with good people, you can check all that out at jointhefoot.com and support the show. It's a great time to get connected right now. It's a great time to start taking in those extra episodes because, for one, we're only recording 2 shows right now during the week, and we don't move to 5 until August, so you get a bonus.
Bonus.
But you get a
3 shows a week. I mean,
you
that's
get odds of getting your question
33%
answered
better.
a lot higher too because there's less people in there right now. So one final question here from Rob. He says, "What free agent still available are you keeping your eye on?" I've got mine.
Hey, Rob.
I've got mine.
All right, who are your guys's?
DeMarco Murray.
Oh,
Purely selfish reasons, but I got him on my dynasty team. I want to see him land somewhere.
mine are somewhat selfish because he actually is on my dynasty team as well, but that is Jordan Matthews. I still believe in him, but the man is hurt. He cannot get a job right now while he is hurt.
No, he can't.
Yeah. I don't know
Jason,
if I've
do you have one?
I don't know if I've got a guy that I'm really waiting for. I mean, obviously DeMarco's probably the biggest name, but everybody else, I mean, Eric Decker, I don't care. Go wherever you want. You're not going to matter. I like Jordan Matthews. I believe in him, but I'm probably not going to draft him wherever he goes. I don't think there is someone great. DeMarco would be the default answer.
Okay.
I hear he's
Colin
going
Kaepernick?
Ooh.
There you go. That's my actual answer.
Remember how you rejoiced with Frank Gore signing in Miami? I'm hoping for one of those moments with my DeMarco Murray share
I
in
got
Dynasty.
something.
My inside sources have DeMarco going to the Raiders.
Oh, gosh. If that happened.
Oh,
They can't get
so
enough
good.
old running backs
Oh, man.
in Oakland.
Convert him to fullback.
Oh, and we can't get enough fullbacks either.
Yeah, well.
Offensive line is now just running backs.
Genius. In the incidental fumble play, whoever picks that up is going to be set. All right, that is it for today's episode. Again, ranking shows next week. Bonus episode of jointhefoot.com. Thank you so much for reviewing the show, listening, subscribing over on the Apple Podcasts app and wherever you're listening. And always follow us on Twitter at the FF Ballers, Instagram.com/thefantasyfootballers. I'm sorry, Instagram.com/fantasyfootballers.
Got it.
Trying to keep that content fresh over there on the Instagram, on the IG.
Yeah, we
as the
put it in.
kids
Is
call
that
it.
what the kids say?
They do.
Yeah, Ig.
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 On the old Ig.
I igged this morning.
I had a couple scrambled eggs, actually. That is it. Thank you for tuning in. And
You
check
put your eggs on the Ig.
You put your... maybe you do, maybe you don't. Draft.com/ballers for some best ball. Come join us. Always fun. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.